Welcome to Real Talk for Real Teachers. I'm Dr. Becky Bailey, the creator of Conscious Discipline. I'm an expert in education, child development, and a lifelong teacher and learner. For those listening who are not aware of Conscious Discipline, it is a comprehensive, brain-based, trauma-informed social emotional learning program. And in that comprehensiveness, it integrates school climate, classroom management, and self-regulation into one seamless system. Today we are joining in on a discussion that I had with two district leaders. One who is working with 18 school counselors throughout the district, and the other who works with 9 administrators and 8 instructional coaches. Both have very large, very comprehensive, very big jobs. The exciting part of this conversation for me was that the superintendent, they just got a new superintendent in this district, and it was the superintendent that suggested to the district people, maybe conscious discipline is something we want to look into. So let's listen in and see what we can learn through our time together. So welcome. Here I am with Lynlie and Toni from Franklin Township Community School Corporation, which I get is a suburb of Indianapolis in Indiana. Okay, so tell me what you do, Lynlie and Toni. So Lynlie, you go first.
Okay.
What do you actually do there?
Okay. Well, I have an interesting title. It's Chief Innovation Officer. Could mean about anything, but what I do is I work with our 18 school counselors in the district.
Wow.
And then I also work with all of our English language learner teachers. We have 10 of those. And then I also work with Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV. I utilize all of those grants and write those grants. And then
I'm getting tired listening to it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And
I work with the High Ability Program as well.
that's a lot.
Yep.
So I guess you have to be quite innovative just to keep up with that.
I think so.
And Toni, what do you do?
I'm the Chief Academic Officer of Elementary. So what that means, I'm in charge of all of the elementary curriculum. I work with 9 administrators. We have 7 elementaries, and I work with 8 instructional coaches.
Wow. You have busy lives and big jobs. So, and you're still smiling, so that's a good sign. Okay, so how did you hear about conscious discipline? How did it bubble up to your awareness?
We had a new superintendent join us about 2 years ago, and he brought it up as something he had used in New Albany and thought that it might be a good initiative for our school district. And so we jumped on board.
We started writing grants, seeing if we could get some money to bring a group of teachers down here last year to Elevate. So we did find the money, and we brought a principal, 2 counselors, and the 2 of us. Just to kind of get our feet wet and go back to the district this past year and just try some things.
So when you first kind of got your feet wet, was there any kind of like, oh, no? I mean, or did it make sense to you right off the bat, or were you kind of like, well, let me dig a little deeper. I'm not sure what he's talking about. How did that sit with you?
We had the books.
Yeah.
We kind of sifted through the books, and then we came to the conference, and we just felt the energy of everyone, and from you and all of your staff. And we really bought in at that moment. But we didn't understand it all at first. We really, this week has really helped us understand the true meaning behind everything.
And as you've understood, has it deepened your understanding of how it could be helpful, or
100%.
have you? Oh, yeah. Okay. So.
I mean, every day, sitting in those sessions, I'm just thinking, okay, in my role, what can I do? How can I model at the district level? When I work with the principals and when I work with the instructional coaches, when I work with grade level teams, how can I model in every meeting, anytime I'm in front of those teachers and staff?
And that's a beautiful answer, because it is about taking it back to your position, not necessarily taking it back to kind of shove it in anybody else's face and their role. So what is happening in the district as of now?
When we came back, we had all of our elementary counselors come together, and we talked about it. laid out just a few things we wanted to do for last year. We wanted to go really slow to go fast.
Wise.
And we also wanted to empower our counselors, give this initiative to them and let them run with it, but learn it and practice, everything themselves. And so all we asked them to do last year was model Brain Start Smart within the school for teachers, because we were already doing morning meetings, and those could become very long and take up 20 minutes when really we didn't need that. So it defined and gave us some structure to the morning meeting, so the Brain Start Smart was perfect.
Yeah.
And so they modeled it for our principals, and then they modeled it within their building. And we had a trainer come and do a day training on school family for our principals, and that's all we did.
And so, did the Brain Smarts? Did they feel? Did you get a sense that they found that kind of a helpful way to start the day and lifting people maybe into a higher state, so they were more excited about learning or prepared to teach? Even?
Yes, I believe those that did it well, with fidelity, absolutely, because we have many students who come to school with a morning that was very unstructured and not a good morning, so it was very positive to come in and have that environment.
Yeah.
And then I do building visits every 2 weeks, so I walk around with the counselors and instructional coaches and the principal, and we go through every classroom and just observe, celebrate all the good things that the teachers are doing with our initiatives this year. And I get to go back and share and celebrate at the district office what I see with, teachers doing their greetings, doing Brain Smart Start, and then trying to build that capacity. Well, Lindley's doing it really well at this school.
Right.
Why don't you go down and watch her?
Perfect.
So really building that capacity within the building, within the district.
And that is so important that we work within ourselves, that so you're nailing this, so let's go watch or you go help someone else, and that kind of pay it forward. I think that's so excited. At another district, I love this. One principal actually took it on and was a little more passionate and a little more had a little more mental space, because there's a lot of initiatives. Had a little more space and took their school to Fidelity, and then once she did, she then just turned around automatically and offered her services to whoever wanted them. And I think sometimes when I was in some districts, there was a little more of a competitive spirit than that cooperative spirit, and I just think it's so nice when we all kind of pull each other up and along and help each other. So so congrats on creating such an environment, because it can get competitive.
It can.
We've been utilizing instructional rounds for a few years on the academic side.
Yeah.
So teachers are becoming more comfortable with that process.
They're opening their doors and they're willing to share and really working on that collaboration. We have collaboration time every Wednesday in every building in the morning. So really taking advantage of that time also.
Right. Just putting it all together. So have you run into massive resistance or little resistance, or you certainly enrolling it out wisely, because it's you can't force people to change their mind. I mean, so it has to bring forth the willing and let the willing kind of grow, and now look what they're doing, just what you're doing brilliantly at your district. But have you run into resistance or anything that's really tripped you up?
I wouldn't say resistance. I would say people that don't understand the true meaning behind each and every ritual, or just what conscious discipline is. Like, I have heard a couple teachers say, well, that won't work with that child. Well, they don't understand this is for every child, and really it starts with you, within yourself.
We really need to work on that why, and that's what I learned so much already, is the why behind it. And that's what the teachers are craving.
Yes. They know it's coming, and it's like a carrot's dangling. They want more. Right.
And it really just comes down to being conscious of your own intention.
Yep.
I mean, as simple as that sounds, that can take a lot of personal growth to get there. And is that the intention that you consciously would want to use if it didn't just fall out? So tell me about some successes that you've seen, that even at the district office level or at any level. What successes? Does it feel a little bit different?
Go ahead.
Okay, at the district office, when we came back last summer, it's like we have to practice, what we're learning. So within our academic department, there's also the business department, the food service, the police officer. So we created a family board and a celebration board, and we also celebrate monthly with our staff there at the building, and we're also going out to each building every month and having a cookout for the staff at each building. So we're really trying to celebrate within, our departments together, weave them together, and then go out to each building and celebrate with them.
I love the cookout idea. So tell me a little bit more about that. I mean,
Well,
We go and we sign up, and we go, and our superintendent will be flipping burgers.
I was going to say, have grill, we'll travel. Yeah, come along.
We purchased a grill for the district and a tent and a fun wheel where you can spin and
win
get prizes, play
Yeah.
music. Teachers come out, hamburgers and hot dogs on their lunchtime, and we just enjoy serving them food.
I love that.
And it is what's been really interesting and exciting is that when we're doing our building visits and walking through the classrooms, we can take that conversation out to these social events.
Right.
I really noticed that in your classroom you did this, and celebrate that way.
That is wonderful. Okay, what else?
Oh gosh, well with the counselors it's been neat to watch them. We meet quarterly. We meet together, and then I'll meet separately with the elementary from the secondary, and just to watch their excitement and them planning these things. And we're really excited about the next year where they have a part of that, because that's their ownership. And so the goal this year is to watch them practice what they've learned this week within their own space and together with that collaborative spirit. That's been really exciting to see them
Yes.
light up with this, because they are on board.
And you guys are the perfect example of shared power. I don't know if you've ever been in a more or less shared power job when you are kind of really dictated what you will do and how you'll do it and when you do it, and then that dictation kind of goes all the way down from the district level down. To see this starting at the top makes so much sense to me, because as a teacher myself, I've had many different districts that I've worked with that make you want to just kind of go, whoa.
We want to retain our teachers. We want them to want to work in Franklin Township. We know that we cannot do this on our own. We really have to build the capacity with, the principals, instructional coaches, and the counselors. And that's what's so exciting for the counselors have this to move forward with the teachers.
Yes. So if you, let's pretend you're talking to all districts people. What are that are pondering? They're just trying to look at something that might serve some of their needs, and they're possibly considering conscious discipline. What would you say to them that as a way of looking at it or something to consider? What would be important that you would want to share with them as y'all have kind of taken this initiative on and moving it forward? And I must admit, you're probably a pioneer in this area for the district down. I can't think, there might be more than I know of, but I can't think about like maybe 6 districts in the whole country. Now there's a ton of schools and there's a ton of teachers and a ton of classrooms. But people who have really kind of embraced and made it their own, this conscious discipline, and kind of shifted it out, you guys are pioneers. So what would you say to some district people as they're pondering or thinking?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is we're opening an early learning center in August, and we brought our director here. So we want to start with the earliest learners and move forward. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. And it can happen in secondary. We're not doing secondary right now, but we're really excited to move forward that way too. So I kind of answered your question, but really starting with those earliest learners.
I agree 100%, because people say, well, what about middle school and junior and second? I'm like, too late, baby. It's too late. Right. If I was doing it, I'd do just what you did. I would take the youngest we can get hold of, and if we can get them young, then we're setting ourselves up. I mean, every school has mobility and issues like that, every district and stuff, but
And we have infants. We're going to have infants. So that, I mean,
that's a brilliant suggestion, brilliant way to start.
And for the district to work together at the district level, to have a really solid team and that collaborative spirit, because we have that. We're very fortunate. We all work so well together, and then we can support others and let them over-communicate the message that this is not something we're doing to you. This is something that we support and will support you with, and not push it upon them, but model. And then that's when people start seeing the sparks and want
Yes.
to jump on board.
Exactly.
But if you say, you must do this is a non-negotiable, it's not going to fly.
It's not going to fly
No.
at all. Those are perfect.
and it has to be we. It cannot be me.
No, it's all about us.
We are doing this. It's not Lynlie's initiative. It's our initiative.
Right. And we have 7 elementary schools, and you have some that want to, oh, we want this, this is new, but we have to all move together, because until you truly understand the why behind it, it won't work.
Right.
And, and if you don't mind
No, please.
saying, for me, huge impact yesterday or the day before was the wish you well. Until you explained what that really means, wow, everyone needs to know that.
Right.
Yeah.
What that truly means. It's
Right.
not just a saying or not something you put in your email. There's a huge message behind that, and science.
That's a huge message
Yeah,
in
so-
science. And what is so helpful, I think, too, is that you have your counselors. Since we are conscious discipline really does support well-being and mental health, and it's also very trauma-informed and gives you the skills, usually counselors see the wisdom in at least some of it right off the bat. So they don't have to be convinced, so to speak.
Right.
They're just going to take it and add it to all their own knowledge and kind of mix it all up and be of service. So I think the fact that you can reach those counselors and give and support them in what they're already doing brilliantly is certainly very helpful. Any last things you have to comments or anything you have to say?
We're just so excited.
We are. I mean, we are.
Can't wait to get back and reflect with our counselors, because there's a lot to chew on.
There's a lot to do.
Come up with our plan. We are moving slowly. We have your videos that we
Yes.
are going to roll out first semester, very slowly and intentionally, but kind of monitor how everybody is doing with it. But I think we're just really excited and can't wait to share it.
And I think that was another key you said, go slow. Sometimes, especially when you come to the week, you're all fired up and
Right.
you've got a lot of ideas, and then you can go home and just, overwhelm everybody. But especially at the district level, y'all being so strategic and so intentional, and you have to do that with every initiative. So sometimes as just a teacher, you're like, you just kind of go for it. So thank you so much for joining me, and
Welcome.
happy, fun journey
Thank
with
you.
it all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, I'm so impressed with the district-wide celebrations and shared power. Barbecues at every school, led by principals and district office people. It does sound exciting and memorable. Reminds us all that we can invest a little more time pausing to connect and pausing to celebrate all our successes and just the time we spend together. So, what's Becky up to? Well, some of you might be aware that I love scuba diving. I have just finished a course to move my diving with oxygen to diving with nitrox. This might not sound like a big deal to many, but for me, I get to stay underwater a bit longer. So it's a giant hooray on my behalf. What are we celebrating? Well, we're celebrating our 2nd annual Elevate SEL Conference, which is designed to help all teachers start off the school year with the best 6 weeks possible, making an investment early that will pay off all year long. It was a huge success, and I hope to see many of you next year at our 3rd annual Elevate. Until next time, I wish you well.
For more episodes of Real Talk with Real Teachers by Dr. Becky Bailey, visit consciousdiscipline.com/podcasts. You can also subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app.